Hey, what's up guys? Guardian here, coming to you guys with a discussion video today, going over the new Vermillion cards from set 11. Yeah, Narukami is making a return to Overdress, which is pretty cool. I'm quite a big fan of Narukami when it comes to the Eradicator side of things. That's the main thing back in the day during Break Ride with Gauntlet Buster Dragon and Vowing Sword from the trial deck that got me into the clan back then. So I revisited them during V a little bit when Vowing Sword eventually got a retrain. So that was pretty fun. So going into that, let's go through the new reveals and what we got. So the starter is Spark Kid Dragoon, which is really cool because I would say this is my favorite starter from Narukami in terms of the aesthetic. I just thought it just looked really cool, especially the V series artwork as well. I think the old school one used to be the old grade 3 searcher from the top 5, but yeah, I actually quite like this pick. So yeah, it's just got the same usual skill as all the other starters that if you go second and you're riding it, you draw a card. So yeah. So moving over to the grade 1, we have Red River Dragoon. So expected this as much because this is the old 8k vanilla, so of course now he's got a skill. So he has auto when this unit is rode upon by a grade 2 whose only clan is Narukami. Search your deck for up to one elemental or eternal, Thunderbolt. Reveal it, add it to your hand, and then shuffle your deck. Okay, so I wonder what that is. Maybe an order card, since they've been doing that with some of the other ride lines, so we'll have to see. Second skill, Auto Rear. When this unit boosts, if you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard, whose only clan is Narukami, cost Counterblast 1, choose one of your opponent's back row rear guards and bind it. And if you did not bind, you still charge 2. So, okay, so a Counterblast to get a bind on the back row. That's interesting. And it also binds as well. So, a soul charge 2 though. I wonder how important that's going to be. What's going to Soul Blast? You know what I mean? So, but yeah, Soul Charge 2, that's pretty good if it comes up. So, yeah. So yeah, Red River Dragoon, pretty nice. So we'll move on over to the grade 2, which is of course going to be Thunderstorm Dragoon. I actually really liked the original artwork of this card back in the day. I remember playing that in my old school Narukami deck. But yeah, this guy, when brought upon by a grade 3 whose only clan is Narukami, you look at the top 7 cards of your deck, choose out the one card whose only clan is Narukami, reveal it, add it to your hand, then shuffle your deck. Alright, pretty good. So this is when you ride on it with a grade 3, so it won't happen until your grade 3 turn. But, I mean, take it from someone that plays MLB with Merin, top 7 is pretty good. And the fact that you can add any Narukami card as well, that's quite a bit of variety you can pick from, assuming those are the other support as well. So yeah, not too bad. And then it has the second skill is when placed on rear, if your Vanguard's clan is only Narukami, blah blah blah. We've heard this a few times now. You soul charge 1, and this unit gets 5,000 power. Oh, cool! So it's just an on-place get a soul charge, which is pretty handy. So yeah, I'm wondering what's going to cost Soul Blast, because there's a fair bit of soul charging here. So that is the grade 2. So moving on over to the big boy himself, grade 3, Dragonic Kaiser Vermillion. Standing with some prowess there, isn't he? He's a proud dragon. So act Vanguard Circle once per turn. Counterblast 1. Choose two of your units whose only cleanse is Narukami, and they get 5,000 power till end of turn. And then during this turn, when this unit would attack, you may choose 2 of your opponent's rear guards, and this unit battles the unit on the chosen circles as well as your opponent's Vanguard. Okay, so that's pretty cool. It's pretty remnants of his old Limit Break in that it used to attack the front row, but this time around he gets to attack 2 of any rear guard anywhere, basically. So that's nice. Yeah, and 2 you unit get 5k as well, which could help with magic numbers as well. So I'm always okay with that. But yeah, pretty straightforward. Pretty close to what his old one was, but a bit better, basically. And then his second skill is Auto Vanguard Circle once per turn. At the end of the battle that this unit attacked, if you played a normal order during this turn, and your opponent has 4 or less cards in their damage zone. Alright, 4 or less cards in their damage. You can pay the cost to discard 1, and then choose one of your opponent's vanguards and deal a damage to it. Wow. That's really cool. So it is... They have got some sort of an element there referencing the old limit break mechanic, but it's kind of like reversed in a way, because it's like the opponent has to have the 4 damage, and if they do, you get to punish them for that and then take them to 5. And wow, that's pretty cool. And also, it's the end of the battle that this attacked, which means you could put them to 5. Obviously, assume that you've used a normal order that turn, which I'm assuming we're getting as a support piece. You do have to discard 1, but hey, put them to 5, and then if you have any other attacks that turn, bring it out, and then your opponent's already in lethal threshold. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, that's interesting. All right, so Vermillion's looking rather cool. So I wonder what this will do. So this is the Eternal Thunderbolt. Come to think of it, I think that's what the anime attack was in the during Limit Break. Like, when the characters would when Kai used to do the anime reference of, use this attack, Eternal Thunderbolt. So what does this do? So this card may be played from your drop or your hand if you have a Vanguard with Vermillion in its card name, whose only clan is Narukami. Okay. The fact that it can be played from the drop, though, is pretty nice. So you could use this for the right deck, for a discard fodder, which is nice. So you could choose one of your Vanguards, and until end of turn, it gets the following ability, which is Continuous Vanguard. When your opponent rearguards, when your opponent rearguards that this unit hit would be retired from rearguard circle, they are instead bound. Oh, okay. So when he kills something in battle, they'll get bound instead of going to the drop zone. Okay. And then it gets another effect as well. Wow. Okay, so it gets the second effect it gets is Continuous Vanguard. If your opponent has no rearguards, all of your front row rearguards get 5k power. All right. And this card, and if this card was played from bind, from your drop, you bind it. Okay. So there's a bit of text to that. But yeah, you're essentially giving your Vanguard 2 skills. You're given the effect of when your opponent's rearguards are retired from the hit of that skill. So basically in reference to Vermillion, attacking them with the counterblast skill, they'll get bound instead of being retired. And then also, if your opponent has no rearguards at all, your front row gets an extra 5k. So yeah, so they're not playing anything. You get more power, basically, which is nice. And of course, if you play this order from the drop, you have to bind it afterwards. So, okay. Interesting. That seems pretty okay, I would say. The 5k extra on top of a Persona right turn would be pretty nice. So, yeah, I can see that synergizing well with the way Vermillion works. Okay, interesting. So we have some other support pieces here. We have the Grade 1 Rising Phoenix. Pretty cool art. So this skill is auto from drop when either player's card is bound by your card's effect during your turn. If your Vanguard's only clan is Narukami, cost Soul Blast 1, call this card to rear. Okay. So when either player's card... Okay. Oh, you could use this as an attack extender. Oh, wait, hold on. That's pretty cool. Yeah, because you could bind some stuff with the Order and Vermillion, and then this could come out afterwards, which would technically generate you an extra attack that turn. So that's multi-attack you can do with this, which is pretty nice. Yeah, okay. And then act rearguard, cost retire this unit, and then choose one of your units, and it gets 5k till end of turn. That's okay, because it basically sets itself up in the drop zone, and then it can just come back out afterwards. So, yeah, this is basically your enabler for multi-attack, in combination with binding something with Vermillion in the order, so not too bad. Yeah, I quite like that because if you get the 5k bonus from like the order plus the 10k from like a Persona ride, this will be hitting for 23 on its own. So that's pretty cool. So yeah, Rising Phoenix looking pretty good. And then we have the Grade 2 Dragonic Deathscythe. This was a popular unit back in the day. I remember this. So, continuous rear guard. During your turn, if your opponent has no front or rear guards, this unit gets 5,000 power. Okay, so it becomes 15. And then auto rear guard. When this unit attacks a Vanguard, if you have a Grade 3 or greater Vanguard whose only clan is Narukami, cost Soul Blast 2. Okay, so that's where it is. You choose when your opponent's rear guards, you bind it, and if you did not bind, you draw a card. Very nice. Okay. Yeah, he would be pretty good beat stick as well. Yeah. So when he attacks the Vanguard, you can Soul Blast 2 and bind, and if you don't, you draw one. So either way, you get a plus in some way or form. Also, that artwork is pretty sick for Dragonic Deathscythe. Like, that is really, really cool. So yeah. Yeah, some pretty interesting stuff. I actually quite like the way they've designed this, especially with like the synergy the order provides with the Vermillion, and having that attack extension from like the Rising Phoenix, because it doesn't say open rear guard. You could just put it in any rear guard circle, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, and obviously we know where the soul blasting cost is coming from now with the Deathscythe, so that would also explain why the Grade 1 Dragoon was giving you a soul charge of 2 as a potential. So, yeah, this is quite cool. I will probably end up building this, I think, because I do own Dragon Empire stuff. Obviously not as much as Keta, but I do like having that second nation on the side, just to have as, something a bit different. And I think with all the nations, I think Dragon Empire was the one I was going to, do that most with. So, yeah. But I quite like the looks of Vermillion. This looks pretty cool, and it also looks pretty fun, I would imagine. But I'd have to see what it's like in playtesting, so I'd have to see that. But yeah, some good first impressions, I think, with this. So yeah, tell me you guys what you think about this stuff in the comments below. But so far, looks pretty cool. Yeah, quite liking the looks of it. So I probably will end up building Vermillion in set 11 as well, along with Ezel, of course. So yeah, expect another video like this when Ezel gets revealed, because, of course, I'm looking forward to that. But in the meantime, do keep your eye on the channel, because I will probably have a deck profile coming out soon of a deck that I've been waiting to upgrade for way too long. And yeah, you've probably wondering where I've been for the past month. Well, I've been busy with other stuff, but I've also been trying to, like, get a deck updated. But you'll see that soon. So, yeah. But yeah, anyway, that's going to do it for me. Hope you guys enjoyed the discussion about the new card reveals. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. This is Guardian 205, signing out.